Hello guys, in this video I will try to brief you about week 7 document where we will be submitting your complete project. So anyhow, to start with, first as a first step you need to make some small correction in your model. So actually here the interest rate that is mentioned over here, that was taken while calculating NPV value. Okay, here we took that one. So that should be changed to the discount rate that is mentioned in the decisions variable. Okay, so come to here in NPV, just here usually it will be like showing input 17 column, maybe like input decision variable interest, like this value it might be showing. Now we change that to discount rate in decision variables. Okay, so remaining all good, that is the only change that we should make. So that because actually like in the requirement document, it is clearly asked us to evaluate how these three changes like growth rate, labor and discount rate changes is sensitive to the major outputs. Okay, so and I will be sharing you this reference sheet. Here we also calculated payback period automatically. So before that, we faced some small disturbance related to that, right? Because I don't know, there is no formula to calculate payback period in Excel. So I created some small formula to create that one. First one is I'm counting, anyhow here if you check it, the values will be in changing from negative to positive. So I created a formula to identify how many negative values are there. So these are five negative values. So in this, if we remove one, because it starts with zero and this is the fourth year. So I want fourth year, but when we count I will be getting five. So 5 minus 1 is the fourth year, and I will be taking the index of this value and index of this one, and I will get value out of it. Okay. So what I did first, I calculated so count, and I separated one because I have to remove zeroth year from that one. Then I took a reference index value of one reference cell, that is so this value the last negative values reference minus one index, so that I can go to ith column and at same level of value. So I received I created that one, and I also took jth columns same reference value. So if you check it, I need to make a total of these two things, and this one and this should be divided with the total value. So same thing I did here. What I did, I took C11, this value, and it is divided by these two addition, and I got 4, 5. This is the payback period value. So simple calculation, I created it. So here the payback period is correct. So now what I do, we are supposed to create some sort of values, create a small table for sensitivity. So sensitivity, what we take, so we take decision parameters, maybe, so these three are the decision parameters. So just check this one and go to output and give these values here, and how it is changing, let us see. Okay, so what is the NPV value when we have these three values, and what is the NPV value when we have different uh, again when we change these values, how they are impacting, that we should calculate. Okay, so if you take production growth rate, let me take first production growth rate and how it is impacting. So when the production growth rate is 10, how the value of NPV, IRR and payback is changing. Okay, so then I will take 3 to 4 values. Okay, so maybe in growth rate, so I will take these values. Okay, so 20%, 30% and 40%. How this is sensitivity, how this is impacting these values, I need to calculate. So let me put the value in decision parameters. This is 10, right? When it is 10, what is the output value? This is the output value. So I will copy this one, just copy this one and come here, press Alt E S and select values. So you should press separately Alt one time. Next, you should click remove the click and click on E and click on yes, Alt ES. Okay, special paste. Click values. So you got some values like okay, they should be transposed. This is payback period value. Now let us take at 20% how it is changing. Come to decision parameters, mark it 20 and come to output. You can see different values. So same thing, control C and our TS values. We got right is equal to transpose of maybe K52, 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 K7. It is not working. So just replace it. Over sir. Just try to do this. So maybe I will take 30%, maybe negative value I will take. I will reduce the value so I can understand it more better way. If it is 5%, how it is, how the values are. So these are the values. If you see, when we are increasing the value, the NPV is increasing and IRR is increasing, but payback period is decreasing. Okay, so payback period is oppositely proportional to growth rate. Okay, and NPV and IRR are directly proportional to growth rate because when growth rate is increasing, NPV is increasing, and when growth rate is increasing, IRR is increasing. But when growth rate is increasing, the payback period is decreasing. Simple. So this is the relation. You should explain it. That's it. And similarly, you should take for different same values and same format, and I will take it for labor growth, labor rate growth, labor rate. Okay. So I will take it for labor rate. So how it is performing, you should understand that. Okay. You can create graph also for this one. Okay. So by using graph also, you can explain. It's up to you whether you take it or not. So how it is increasing. Okay. So like this. Anyhow, so when we have a labor rate of first one is initially it is 3%. When and the value of growth rate should be 10% only. So this should not change. Okay. When it is 3%, what is the value we got? Calculations output. We have 2455. So this is the basic value. Just copy paste it. These three values, just copy paste. So first basic rate, basic data that is. So this will be same for interest rate also. So let us take interest rate. Interest rate or discount rate for this also. These two values we should change. So I'm not sure this. So when we increase or decrease labor rate, how it impact? Maybe first let me increase it to 5%. 5%. So what is the value? These three values, and when you use special paste, it will be removing formulas. Okay, there are no formulas now. This is 5%. Okay, now let us decrease it to 2%, 1%. So what is the output? So now you have labor rate related thing. Here, if you check it, when the value of NPV is increased, value of labor rate is increased, the NPV decreased and IRR decreased, payback period increased. Payback period should be usually less. Less is more better. So this is also increasing. And when you decreased it, the payback period is decreased. Okay. So uh, the in labor rate value is having negative impact on IRR and NPV. Okay. And the labor rate value is having direct proportional to payback period, means if it is reduced, the payback period is improving, and if it is increased, the payback period is increasing. So that is how you should understand. So it's directly proportional to payback period and indirectly proportional to NPV and IRR. If it is changed, if it is increased, these two reduces. If it is decreased, this increases. This increases means the value speaks about time. So lesser the time means it is increasing, larger the time means it is decreasing. Okay, so a very simple fund. Now let us try to work on interest rate. So now when we have 3% into 5% interest rate, these are the values. Okay, so when we are increasing the values, how it happens, and when we decrease the value, how it happens, let us try to understand. Okay, when we make discount to 10%, let us increase to 10%. So what happened to values now? So these are the values. Let us copy, and here it is 10%. Now let us copy the values. What values we got? So we can see that NPV is decreased, and we can see that IRR rate is increased, interest rate increased, internal rate of return increased, and payback period is improved. Okay. So when we increased the interest rate, you can see that NPV value, net present value reduced, but internal rate of return is increased. It became 28%. Before that, it was 27%. Now it increased to 28%. And payback period, before that, it is 4.5 years. Now it is 4.49 years. This also showing positive impact when interest rate is increased. When interest not in, this is discount rate. Discount rate. Okay. Now let us see what happens if it is decreased to 1%. Okay. So now this I make 1%. How it impact us. So let us copy this one. Really sorry, this should be 3%, right? Very small change actually. Let us try again for this 10%. Actually here what I did is I didn't update it this labor cost. So when it is 10%, what it will be? Let us see again. Output. I can see that these are the values. NPV has impact of discount rate, and there is no impact on internal rate of return, and there is no impact on payback period. Okay, so those two are common. Now again, let us change it to 1%. How the impact will be? Again, here if you see it, this value, net present value, increased actually. Okay, so this clearly shows that when we change discount rate, it is not impacting internal rate of return or payback period. Okay, so and it is directly impacting NPV. So from this analysis, it is clear that discount rate only impacts NPV, not IRR and payback period. So these are some basic calculations. And anyhow, scenario management, in the scenario management, remove the previous one, delete. Okay. So go to scenario manager. Okay. So now add new values. So scenario name, maybe scene one, this one maybe. Okay. By changing the cells of decision parameters, these three values. Okay. So and changing the cells. Okay. So actually we should be on the same sheet here. Let us take decision parameters. The decision parameters, just take payback period. Actually it has formula now. So this will be is equal to, from calculate output, you take payback period. Okay, this is the payback period, right? So you have all the values that are on payback period now. And go to decision parameters and make this one 10%. Sorry, 5%, I guess. Basic value is 5%. Input interest on that, not interest on that. Should be 5%, right? It's 5%. This is 5% and this should be 5%. Okay, right. Now we have all the values. So in this page, just go to what if analysis, scenario manager, delete all these three. So we don't need all these three. If you have any, delete them. Okay, just add one scenario name, maybe S1. You can name any. Okay, so need not to just take the same values. Okay, comma this value and this one and this one. These three things we should change and click OK. And changing cells are these three things and give values to this one. So maybe for first what we give the values here, output. Um, so anyhow, you can give any values. Okay. So I'm giving so base value already there. First value I give 20%. I will make it, and interest rate I will increase it to 5%. The labor cost, and I will increase this to 10%. Okay. And changing tells B2, B3, B4. I got. Okay. Now, if you click summary, It will ask for which cells you are supposed to change. I will take these three values. Okay, so okay. Now you can see that when you increase this one, the value of so this you can rename it to maybe NPV, and you can rename it to IRR, and you can rename it to payback. So now you can see that payback period is also directly generated. You got it. So payback period is also directly generated because we have created a formula for that matter. All right. So now we improvise the scenario again. I will keep it here. So let me take another scenarios. Go to what if analysis in the scenario manager. Add one more scenario. So before that, I will check what are the values. Okay. So in output, next I took it is as 20, 5, and 10. 20, 5, and 10 already done, right? 5, 1, 1. Okay. So 511 is the value. Well, let me take scenario manager. Add one more scenario. Yes, 2. And click OK. This should be 5, 1%, and 1%. Click OK. Then show. It's already updated. Okay. So now I have two scenarios. If you want one more scenario, just add yes, three scenario and click OK. You give your own values, maybe 0, 5, and this should be 1, and this can make 15%. Okay, click OK. Show. Right. I have three scenarios now. So I will be having a present value, current value, exactly value, and other three variables. Okay. So let me close. This one is 10, 3, and 5. Now what I do, I will run the scenario analysis. I will just click summary, and these are the values that should change, and click OK. So now you can see at initial stage when 10, 3, 5 are there, these are the values. And so when you take, when you're increasing, so these are the values. In this, what is the best case? What is the best case? The larger the NPV value is the always the best case. Okay. And IRR should be good, but larger the NPV is the main contribution to your analysis part. Okay. So when you are analyzing something, you are most like the NPV value, larger the NPV value, larger you take. Okay. So then payback period, payback period. Okay. So these three are the values you have. So in this, what is the best value? This is the best one. What is in growth rate is 5%, and when you have this cell is for, what is this cell for? This is for growth rate, production, maybe P growth rate, then labor growth, and last one is interest or like discount rate. So you have three values. So the best, what is the best one among all the three? So irrespective of any values, when your NPV is largest, that will become a best value. For this best value, you are creating larger net present value at internal rate of 12.5%. See, and payback period of 5 years. Okay, so it's all good. No need not to worry about it. Okay, so when you have a combination of NPV, IRR, and payback, the first and foremost value that you should consider is NPV. If NPV is largest, that project you will be selecting. That option you will be definitely selecting. Okay, because here value is created more when compared to other options. Done. So next, you can speak about internal rate of return, other things. So this is the best case, and this is the, as NPV is lowest, this is the least case. Okay, so simple. This is all about your analysis sheet. You need not to create any Excel sheets again. So you can just you can use this one. You can use this Excel sheet, and you can make enough changes to this one, and you can perform scenario management analysis, and you can use your scenario to present your work. Okay, so in this one, this is best case and this is worst case. Okay, so make sure you understand that. Chalo, now let us try to address the case questions. So what is the case question? First one, what is the project's NPV and internal rate of return? So that is the initial one. So first you should start writing what is net present value. You explain it properly. Then you explain what is internal rate of return. Okay. Then mention what is NPV value. So NPV value is some XYZ value. So we got first initial value, right? Here in the NPV output sheet, the present first values. This is the initial NPV value, and this is initial IRR value, and this is initial payback period. Okay, when the values are 10, 3, 5. Got it? So you have these values for first answer. Now you will be speaking about what is NPV 244525. So NPV value is very positive. So what is the interpretation of NPV? You can get it from ChatGPT also. If you ask what is the good value for NPV, larger the value is better the value. Okay. So when we have all other parameters also, NPV will be giving the main option. NP is the main option to choose your project. Okay, so next IRR value, it is internal rate of return. 27% return you are going to get within the whatever the investment you made. So try to understand what is IRR. IRR, something which is greater than zero is always good. Negative is not accepted. For these two elements, negative values don't allow you to take up the work. Okay, so the company will be, if it is in minus values, the company is in losses. So such options you don't choose. You will be choosing the options for growth rate, labor rate, and discount rate only when the NPV, assumed NPV value is larger or IRR is larger. Okay, so simple question, and you should address properly, write about what is net present value, what is internal rate of return, what are the values. What is the payback period of for the 1 million investment? So here 1 million investment is given and you have a payback period of 4.5 years. It means 4 years, 6 months. So you can convert this one 0.512, you can convert it into months and days. Okay. So just need not to calculate anything. Come to ChatGPT. So take 4 years are there, 512781. So just copy this value 0.51. So convert this value to months and days. So this is 6 months and 15. 6 months and 0.15. 6.15 months. 0.15 becomes 4.6 days. So approximately 6 months and 5 days. So the total value becomes 4 years, 6 months and 5 days. You need not to perform this calculation. Simply you can say payback period is 4.512 years, that is equal to 4 years, 6 months and 5 days. So very simple. Okay. So that you can speak. Like you mentioned, what is payback period? Explain it. What is payback period? Payback period is something, the time in which whatever the investment you made that can be returned, it will make the zeroth level. So means like you invested 1 million and you got back 1 million rupees. Whatever you invested, you got back. That time is called payback period. So after that period, whatever you get will be a profit. Okay. So what were the main assumptions that guided your model? What are your main assumptions? So you just need to speak about like calculating about revenues, calculating about cash flows and other things. What assumptions you made? So basically you made like so related to the assumptions, you should speak about what inputs they have given. Like maybe see here, they have given some data, right? About these data, these assumptions you should discuss. What is the facility cost? revenue and what are fixed and what can change, that related information. So you should speak about above things only. Okay, so here already given the assumptions and project details data. Okay, so focus more on the growth rate that we are mentioning and cost that we are mentioning and discount rate that are mentioning. Okay, so just make sure you speak about your assumptions. Next, how might the company evaluate or try to reduce the inputs from influence diagram? So you do some generic research and you just work on it. So the inputs are always the influencing factors usually. So if you exclude the unnecessary elements like which are not having any impact related thing, then it automatically reduces the value like unnecessary things on the influence diagram. What are the results under best and worst case scenarios? Already we created a scenario management and I explained you how to identify what are the best and worst case scenarios. What are the results that you should mention? What is the for like if you take best case, what are the NPV values? What is the IRR value and what is the payback period? Why you selected that as a best or why you selected that as a worst case that you should mention it. So now next you should speak about how sensitive the model to changes in revenue growth, labor cost and discount. So I already created that tables. You should speak like when you change the revenue value, how it is impacting on the main three elements of the model. And when you are changing labor cost, that you should discuss. So very simple. So to make it simple, revenue growth will be having a direct impact on NPV and IRR value and indirect impact on payback period. Whereas labor costs have direct impact on payback period and other two variables will be negatively impacting. And if you take discount factor, it is only impacting the NPV value. Other two factors are independent. So this is basic explanation to that, and you can improvise it. What operation risks could impact the project success? This in general you should write when you have a like so, uh, to make it simple. Say for example, you take um, discount rate or interest rate as a specific value, but if it unexpectedly if it increases, that will be impacting the project success because we assumed something, and if something goes beyond the assumptions, it will definitely negatively impacting the organization. That is the main risk that we are going to get. Okay, so what would it to be better to lease the facility instead of building? For 8 and 9 questions, do some research and write about it. Mostly like when we have a building, like when we have own property, it will be more advantageous and it gives you more economic benefit when compared to take a building on lease. Okay, so that is one important aspect. And for debt to financing, like we get a lot of benefits like tax benefit we get because there will be interest associated with the debt. We get tax benefit, and you can do some basic research and you can understand why debt when financing is more attractive when compared to equity. Okay, so what happens to NPV IRR in worst case scenario? Flat revenue or rising costs? So revenue is flat and costs are increasing. When revenue is flat, revenue is not increasing and costs are increasing, definitely NPV will be reduced and IRR will be reduced. How do the results? So just do some basic analysis and write it. And how do the results of NPV and IRR change under best case assumptions? So you speak best case, like already we have a best case, and how do the results change under best case assumptions? Just write about it. And would you recommend proceeding with the project based upon the key metrics? So whatever the project you have identified, will you be continuing with the project? Because yes, NPV is positive, IRR is positive, payback period is very low. So we can continue with the project. These questions you are supposed to address as a part of case questions. So however, your document structure will be like this. Here you have some basic assumptions. This one. So write an introduction in one page. Speak about your project and what assumptions you have. So some of the important assumptions. So introduce your project, explain your approach to build a financial model. You just explain it. And in this one, executive summary, you write it in maximum of 2 pages, max 2 pages. And in this one, summarize major findings for shareholders, focusing on financial viability and recommendations. What you identified from the basic analysis, what are the key things that you identified, you just mention. Okay, so speak about four important elements like how revenue is changing, how working capital changing, what are the cash flows, and how values we received. You just speak about all those things, and whatever the case questions that are there, all the 12 questions that you address as a part of case question sections, and this should be 5 pages. You can use your screenshots, so you can modify my model and use it, so need not to recreate anything. Just modify my model, whatever the reference model I am sharing, just modify it and fix it. Okay, you can use screenshots and other things. So this will be 5 pages max, 5 to 6 pages, and a 1 page conclusion. Okay, so what final recommendations you make about the project? Okay, and along with this one, just finish your slides too. 5 to 7 slides is enough. Just finish it. Slide should also finish. Got it. So, and your slide should speak introduction to the project and screenshot of your model and mention your key findings. What are the financial recommendations you mention, and what is the best case and what is the worst case according to your assumptions. Okay, that should be mentioned in your document. All right. So if some explanatory like notes should be given, just copy and paste notes from the report that you created. All right. So this should be 8 pages report. It includes a lot of screenshots. So make it fast and complete your project. Okay. Along with this one, create your PPT. That is my intake, my requirement. Please complete efficiently. So when you're creating presentation, make sure you include these things within 5 to 7 pages, and it should contain an introduction and conclusion sheet. Done. All the best, team. Make sure you work properly. Right.